teased Kevin about that night's town council meeting. Kevin's first as a council member. "I still don't know how you let yourself get talked into it," Gabriella said. She worked construction with Kevin and Hank. Young, tough, and wild, she had a mouth, and often gave Kevin a hard time. "They told me it would be fun." Everyone laughed. "They told him it would be fun. Here's a man who's been to hundreds of council meetings, but when Gene Aureliano tells him they're fun, Kevin Claiborne says, 'Oh yeah, I guess they are.' Well, maybe they will be." They laughed again. Kevin just kept wielding his pick, grinning an embarrassed grin. "They won't be," Doris said. She was the other green on the council. Having served 2 terms, she would be something like Kevin's advisor, a task she didn't appear to relish. They were housemates and old friends, so she knew what she was getting into. She said to Gabriella, "Jean chose Kevin because she wanted somebody popular." "That doesn't explain Kevin agreeing to it." Hank said, "The tree growing fastest is the one they cut first." Gabriella laughed. "Try making sense, Hank, okay?" The air warmed as the morning passed. They ran into a 3rd traffic light box, and Doris scowled. People were so wasteful. Hank said, "Every culture is as wasteful as it can afford to be." "Nah, it's just lousy values." "What about the Scots?" Kevin asked. "People say they were really thrifty." "But they were poor," Hank said. "They couldn't afford not to be thrifty. It proves my point." Doris threw dirt into a hopper. "Thrift is a value independent of circumstances." "You can see why they might leave stuff down here," Kevin said, tapping at the traffic boxes. "It's a bitch to tear up these streets, and with all the cars—" Doris shook her short black hair. "You're getting it backwards, Kev, just like Hank. It's the values you have that drive your actions, not the reverse. If they had cared enough, they would have cleared all this shit out of here and used it, just like us." "I guess. It's like pedaling a bike. Values are the downstroke, actions are the upstroke, and it's the downstroke that moves things along." "Well," Kevin said, wiping sweat from his brow and thinking about it, "if you've got toe clips on, you can get quite a bit of power on your upstroke. At least I do." Gabriella glanced quickly at Hank. "Power on your upstroke, Kev? Really?" "Yeah. You pull up on the toe clips. Don't you get some thrust that way?" "Shit, yeah, Kev. I get a lot of power on my upstroke." "About how much would you say you get?" Hank asked. Kevin said, "Well, when I'm clipped in tight, I think I must get 20% or so." Gabriella broke into wild cackles. This is the mind about to join the town council? I can't wait. I can't wait to see him get into some heavy debate with Alfredo. Fucking toe clips. He'll be talking toe clips." "Well," Kevin said stubbornly, "don't you get power on your upstroke?" "But 20%? Hank asked, interested now. "Is that all the time or just when you're resting your quads?" Doris and Gabriella groaned. The 2 men fell into a technical discussion of the issue. Gabriella said, "Kevin gets into it with Alfredo, he'll say toe clips. He'll say, 'Watch out, Fredo, or I'll poison your blood.'" Doris chuckled, and from the depths of his discourse, Kevin frowned. Gabriella was referring to an incident from Kevin's grade school days, when he had been assigned with some others to debate the proposition, "The pen is mightier than the sword." Kevin had had to start the debate by arguing in favor of the proposition, and he had stood at the head of the class, blushing hot red, twisting his hands, rocking back and forth, biting his lips, blowing out every circuit, until finally he said, blinking doubtfully, "Well, if you had just the pen, and if you stuck someone, they might get blood poisoning from the ink." Heads to the desks, minutes of helpless howling, Mr. Freeman wiping the tears from his eyes, people falling out of their chairs. No one had ever forgotten it. In fact, it sometimes seemed to Kevin that everyone he had ever known had been in that classroom that day, even people like Hank, who was 10 years older than him, or Gabriella, who was 10 years younger. Everybody. But it was just a story people told. They dug deeper, ran into rounded sandstone.